All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Um, let's get started, shall we? So, sharing my screen first of all. I hope everyone is doing all right. Okay. All right. If you cannot hear me or if you have any question, feel free to talk to me. Okay. So, um, yep. So the screen now is being shared. You guys should see what's going on my screen now. Okay. All right. So just a little bit of what we talked about last time. Okay. So last time we talked about main idea. Okay. So main idea is basically the a sentence first of all, right? It's a sentence that make a claim about certain something. Okay, and it has to be justified in the body paragraph. Okay, that's the main idea. So main idea um could what main idea could also be considered answer to the questions. Okay, if you have if the questions ask you whether you agree or disagree with a particular statement, then your answer is the main idea to the question. Okay, right. Um, so once you have your main idea, and you have your supporting ideas, you are almost ready to write an essay. Okay, um, all you have to do is to outline your ideas. Okay, so outlining is nothing but putting all your generated ideas together. Okay, to see if there is any gap or any idea that doesn't fit in. Okay, putting all your ideas together. Okay, allows you to you know uh, uh, consider if a certain idea needs more support. Okay, or if a certain idea can cannot be supported. Okay, if if you feel that this idea um, cannot be further supported, or you don't think you have any good examples for it, then it can simply be removed. Okay, right. So okay, let's go to page 4. Okay, so I hope you guys remember an example that we did last time. I think it was about outlining for a question that's asked if you agree that secret advertising, if it is banned, will be um, um, good for reducing the number of young smokers. Okay, I think that's a question, and I think we also came up with quite a bit of ideas like um, in terms of objection, right? I think we came up with quite a few other reasons why young people become addicted to nicotine, and we also came up with some solutions other than banning advertising of cigarette, right? Okay, and we can use those ideas as major support and minor support, okay, to defend our position against the position given by the questions. Okay, so if you are in favor of the opposition idea, then your main ideas can sound some things like, well, banning advertising of cigarette is not going to make any difference. So it's not going to be effective enough to um, reduce the percentage of young smokers, right? Okay, uh, and you can begin your first body section discussing uh, what you believe to be the actual causes of nicotine addictions among young people, right? So you can be looking at things like misconception, all right? You can be looking at things like peer influence and also lack of regulation, okay? You can explain them so that people understand that, okay, so these are the actual reasons why young people become addicted to cigarette. It's not really about advertising, okay? And next, you can your next major support will be about solutions other than banning advertising. All right, so you um, could say, well, hey, based on the given um, contributing factors of nicotine addiction, I think one of the best way to deal with this is um, to use parental guidance, for example. Okay, so parental guidance can be associated with addressing peer influence. Okay, um, education is about the harms associated with nicotine, right? Can deal with misconceptions. Because some young people might be thinking that smoking is going to help them to curb their appetite, which will lead to weight loss, or nicotine in a cigarette can, well, relieve the stress. Yeah, while that is true, it is not a very sustainable solution because it doesn't really address the problem at the root cause. Okay, so all the effect that you get from smokings are quite temporary. They're not long lasting. Okay, um, it will be gone, right? So it's not very sustainable. So you have to keep smoking in order to, control your weight or to relieve your stress, and while you achieve your goal, your health is taking damage. Like your lung is going to be taking a lot of damage. Yes. Okay. So that's basically it. Okay. Let's move on to um, other example of outline. Okay. Um, so if you look at kinds of outline, we have an informal and also formal outline. So informal outline is just a rough or scratch outline, okay, that lists only the major supporting ideas in order in which you think you should develop them. Okay. So let's have a look at another example of an informal outline. Okay. Assignment, it says evaluate the proposal to replace the current ban of street food vendors in Bangkok. Should we lift the ban? Why or why not? So the question is pretty straightforward, right? Should we lift the ban? Lift the bans means to allow people to do something um, after some time, right? That they were not allowed to do that particular thing. Okay. All right. So um, let's have a look at the main idea here, right? It says lifting the ban will not only benefit the owners of the street food vendors, but also employees in many office buildings. Okay, so the main idea here is in favor of lifting the ban. Okay, and it raised questions about the benefits. Okay, that the that lifting the ban of street food vendors who have on the owners, and also benefits that employees will obtain. Okay, so benefits for both sides, right? Benefit for the business owners and also business for the customers, right? So, what those benefits are, okay, that those remains to be seen in the body section, okay. But if you have a look at the following paragraph, right? He actually plans to talk about problems with street food vendors. Okay, so yeah, um, why would you want to talk about street food vendors? Well, maybe just to be fair, right? Okay, because um, uh, nothing is perfect in this world, right? If you're going to support something, and you can also acknowledge the shortcomings when you present your idea, it will be more persuasive. Okay, so it's sort of shows people that you have explored every area concerning your issue. Um, so it's always a good idea for you to be sort of unbiased. Okay, so you have to show acknowledgement of strength as well as weaknesses. Okay, but because you believe in the strengths of a particular solution, you decide to take side with it. Okay, right. But that doesn't mean that you completely ignore the weaknesses. Okay, you're aware of the weaknesses, and you probably figure a way to work around those weaknesses. Okay, so problem with the truth vendors, that's going to go in the following paragraph. Okay, and maybe he will also divide some solutions for those problems. Third is how street food vendors work. Okay, so that's what he planned to do. Number four, benefits of street food vendors. Okay, so basically, the point number four will address the main idea, because that's the questions that get raised. When someone read the main ideas, they want to know right away what those benefits are. Okay, that's going to be answer in the fourth paragraph. Okay, um, five is conclusion. Now, when you look at this formal outlining, you if you were like me, you might wonder, well, why is it that someone's want to talk about problem of something that they want to support, right? Okay, yeah, that, like I said, that's fine. Okay, as long as you also figure out solutions for those. Okay, because if you talk about problem of street food vendors, there are any solutions, then this is going to counter what your belief, what you believe. Okay, all right. But point number three, eh, you might probably want to sort of start with number three, because number three has more to do with explanation of street food vendors, just in case some of your audience may not know what street food vendors are. Okay, so I think point three is better off as part of the introduction, right? Okay, so you see, when you do outlining, it allows you to sort of customize and move things around. Okay, this is better than doing uh, all this rearrangements is best to do before writing, because if you do it after writing, it's going to create a lot of mess. Okay, it's going to be very difficult, especially if your essay is handwritten. Okay, if it's typed in Microsoft Word, well, yeah, yes, you can. It's just all about cutting and pasting, isn't it? But if it's handwritten, you have to rearrange ideas after you have written. It's going to be, real pain. Okay. All right. Um. Okay. But you can also see that for informal outlining, the depth of each idea is sort of not very great, right? We don't go really deep into details, okay? And you know, that is probably also because of the time constraint. Okay, says you are in an exam and you have like 5 minutes to prepare to write, then you don't want your outline. You probably don't want your outline to be too detailed, because otherwise you would not have enough time to write your response. Okay, so outline can also, be uh, uh, like this, okay, and not containing too much details. All right, but if you do have time, I would recommend that you go all the way. Okay, for example, here the following example is how you do formal outlining. So the major difference is formal outline is more clear. All right, every section has more depth to it. Okay, so let's have a look. Describe problem with street food vendors. A, dirty. Okay, and they break it down into food scraps and littering. B, unfair, and they break it down to owners don't pay taxes, their stands block the entrance of legal shops. C, accident, break it down to car pull over, structure could injure pedestrian. Okay, so this is like, when you um when you browse something in your computer, it's sort of like that. When you click on a folder, okay, and it's expand, right? You see a drop down menu, and you just go, and when you click on the subfolder, it just expands again. Okay, it's sort of like that. Okay, so uh, if you compare this with the previous page, all right, see number 2, problem is food vendor. That's it. Okay, so for informal outline, you just know that the next paragraph or second paragraph, you will talk about problem with food vendors, but you don't know just yet what those problems are. Okay, but with formal outlining, you know exactly what those problems are. Okay, and what are the key ideas that you will cover for each of the problems. So it's almost self-explanatory. Like, for example, the first problem with a street food vendor is it can get dirty. All right, why? It's because this the vendors owners, they might you know um, create food scraps while they're cooking, you know, and customers who buy their food could be littering the packaging after they finish eating. Okay, so that's will pollute the environment. Okay, second, uh, it could be unfair. You know, why is it unfair? Because street food vendors, some of them don't pay taxes. They event tax. They they probably claim that, hey, this is not their steady source of income, but just doing it um, just for casual, and this is not a steady source of income. While in truth, they might be running the vendors every day, 8 hours a day, making a lot of money. Okay, but nothing is recorded, so um, the the they can always evade taxes. And it's also unfair, in a sense that their stand can block the entrance of legal shops. So just imagine you run a pharmacy, maybe, okay, and you have your license and everything, but then one day, some people just park the vendors right in front of your shop and start selling things and making it a inconvenience for people to enter your shop. Okay, because of the structure of the vendors, just you know um, make it difficult for everyone. And accidents can also happen. That's point C. Okay, um, what does that mean? Right? How could street food vendor cause accident? Okay, so um, it says car pull over. So that simply means a car just stop almost suddenly. Okay, like imagine when you're driving on the road, and some car just cut right in front of you. Like try to go to the left lane, just to stop by at some of the vendors to buy things. Okay, so they have to cut through everyone, and that can cause accident. Okay, and the structure of the street food vendor could injure pedestrian. It's probably like if you imagine street food vendors, many of them would have umbrellas, right? And and part of the structure could injure people who walk by, right? The stand of the umbrella could cause people to trip over, for example. Okay. And the next major supporting idea is how street food vendors work. Okay, so in this particular case, it's just expanded a little more, right? So, people invest in fixed or mobile stand to operate. Anyone can stop to buy what they want. Yep. Okay. So street food vendor is a small business. All right. It doesn't require big capital to start. Okay. So maintenance cost is very minimal. Operation cost very minimal. Okay. So that increase the profit margins for the owners. Okay. Yep. Um, benefits. Okay. So benefits for the owners. Okay. Like previously mentioned, it requires only a small investment. Okay. And you know, that leads to bigger profits. Okay. And benefits for office building employees is, well, since the maintenance costs and the operation costs are not high, the owners don't need to set very high prices for their goods, and you know that's quite beneficial for people who don't make a lot of money on a monthly basis. Okay, right. Okay, so that's it. Um, should we do? All right, so that's all about outlining. Okay, next we're going to talk about common organizational strategies. Okay, so organizational strategy is how you manipulate um, um, ideas, how you like order ideas in your body paragraph. Okay, that's organizational strategy. Okay, so how do we manipulate that? I like to talk about this particular strategy. I think is going to be beneficial to most of you. Well, where is it? Here we go. Comparison and contrast. Okay, this one here, comparison and contrast. I think this is most beneficial to you. So, suppose you are given questions like this. Yeah, you okay? So you want to compare Frankenstein's creature with Cinderella. Wait, not that one. Frankenstein creature. You want to compare Frankenstein creature and Pinocchio. Okay, right. When you have to compare and contrast things, and how would you do that? Okay, how would you organize your ideas? Okay, if you have to compare two things, there are two techniques, two strategies you can use to organize your ideas. The first technique is called the block technique. Okay, so for block technique, you have the number of paragraphs depends on the number of things you are comparing. If you compare two things, then you will not need more than two paragraphs. Like in this case here, if you want to compare between Frankenstein and Pinocchio, okay, then you're going to need only two paragraphs. So the first paragraph could be about one of the creators. Like this paragraph here is about Pinocchio. Okay, well, the major supporting ideas in this paragraph could be, different aspect, like creation, who creates it, the relationship between the creator and the person who invented. Okay, so these are like the different aspects. So in this paragraph, you will not say anything about Frankenstein. Okay, it's only about Pinocchio. Then the next paragraph, you can talk about Frankenstein. Okay, in terms of creation, reaction, and the relationship. Right. So that's one technique, block technique. The next technique is called point by point technique. Okay, the previous technique is the block, right? Now we have point by point technique. So what is point by point technique? Now this focuses more on the aspects. You see, what are the aspects that we have? We have creation, reaction, and relationships, right? We have three aspects. So the number of aspects will determine the number of paragraphs you need. Okay? It's not about how many things you want to compare anymore. It's about all the different aspects that you want to be looking at. Those aspects determine the number of your paragraph. Okay, so your first paragraph will be all about what? Creation. And you'll be comparing Pinocchio against Frankenstein. Next paragraph will be about reaction. And you compare Pinocchio against Frankenstein. Okay. Next paragraph will be about the relationship. Okay, and you are comparing between Pinocchio and Frankenstein. Okay, now just to give you a little bit more example. Okay. Okay, now suppose I ask you to review two models of cell phone. Okay, so the instruction is please okay, please review. Okay, cell phone A. Okay, so could be A of any brand, any models. Okay, please reveal cell phone A and cell phone B. Okay, so right, you have to write a blog of review. Two techniques you can use. Okay, of course, first technique is a block technique. Okay, we're gonna try block technique first. Okay, so for block technique, how many things are you comparing? You're comparing only two things. So you will have no more than two paragraphs. Okay, so your first paragraph will be about cell phone A. Okay, now the content inside this paragraph or the mind supporting ideas will be about all the different aspects that you want to discuss. Now there may be a lot of aspects like battery life, processing power, screen resolution, connectivity, storage the size of the storage. What else? I don't know. Its charging ability, so on and so forth. There may be many different aspects, okay? But you need to select, some of the important aspects that you think your audience will be interested in, okay? So maybe I'm just going to focus on only three aspects. So first is going to be um, is battery life. Okay, battery life. So we'll be looking at the charge capacity, right, in milliamp hours. Okay, that is how long it can last per on a daily usage. Okay, how long you can use this phone before you need to recharge it. And next could be about the charging cycle. So how many times you can fully charge your phone before the battery will not accept any more charges. In other words, the battery is dead, right? You can't turn it on. There's no power source. Okay, that's battery life. Next is what should be the next one? Maybe repairability. Okay, so basically we'll be looking at the availability of parts and the cost. Okay, so certain phone, if it's very unique, very new, then it might be difficult to source the parts when when certain say your screen is shattered, you break your screen, you damage your screen, and this is like a top line models, and the parts are not readily available in the market. So there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to wait, right? You just have to wait until this cell phones gains more popularity, all right, to the point where the OEMs companies start making parts for repair shops. Okay, yeah, because if a cell phone is not popular, then shops, they don't have parts to replace. Yeah. Okay, that's why buying phones at the point when it's released is probably not a very good idea. If you plan to have a problem with it in a couple of weeks or months after purchase, right? I know that no one actually want to have any problems after purchase, but just in case it happens, right? You just want to be sure that it is repairable. And the cost as well, right? The cost. So the more it is difficult to source your parts, the more expensive it's going to be. Okay, if the phone has a very advanced technology, if it is complicated to repair, then the cost for repair will be high, and you will need to prepare money for that. Okay, what should be the next aspect to discuss about a phone? Well, maybe memory capacity. Okay, right. So we can talk about the physical memory. Okay, how much gigabyte is available for you to store your data and applications you download. Okay, now sometimes you can sort of run out of your physical memory. That you have so much pictures, you take pictures every day at very high resolution or high resolution videos like 4K. That's going to take up a lot of space on your SSD memory. So you might want to consider cloud storage. Okay. Yep. So you can basically upload some of your data to the cloud, right? In other words, to server somewhere far, far away from you, who could be in a different country, to store data for you. So you can retrieve it whenever you need. If you lose your cell phone, you don't have to worry about losing your data because your data is never there in the first place, stored somewhere else in the world. Okay, right. So these are the aspects, right? So for cell phone B, it's just going to be the same, right? All the aspects are the same, exact same. It's just that the parameters going to be different. So let's say cell phone A, right? It comes with a 4,000 milliamp hour, okay? Whereas cell phone B, it comes with 2,000 milliamp hours. So cell phone A has twice as much charge capacity. Cell phone B, what does that mean? That means you can, that means it will last you longer on a daily usage. Okay, so if cell phone A, sorry, if cell phone B lasts you, well, also depend on what you do with your phones, right? Different, um, different operation will also translate to different power consumption, right? Um, okay, but if your usage is like typical, like viewing messages, watching YouTube, playing certain games, that does not really requires a large resource. It doesn't require massive um, graphic. Then say it could last you what 4 hours, okay, with cell phone B. So that means if you do the same thing on cell phone A, it's gonna last you longer hours, twice as much. So it could be 8 hours for cell phone A. Okay, for a charging cycle, could be the same, 1,000 cycle. This one as well, maybe 1,000 cycle. So when you fully charge your phone, from what 0% to 100%, it will last 1,000 times. After that, the efficiency begins to drop. Okay, which means it will not be able to store the same charge as it's used to. Okay, right. Next is the repairability. Okay, says cell phone A's validated part. Just hang on a second. I think there's someone at the door. Oh.
Yeah. Is hard just here? Is it here? Yes, please. Could you ask him? Just let him know police is here. He's not in trouble.
Bro. Artist? Did they buy his car?
No.
Just the door open? I can open the door.
He's not here.
Give a number? Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Could you tell me what this is again?
It's something
Just a welfare
personal, yeah. Just related to him.
Oh.
Yeah, nothing including you lads. Three 712 Right, what's your name? Nath, do you live here? Are you like
I work here.
okay. So I'll just get your details on like I can let them know that I've spoken to you.
Sure.
Nath, what's your last name?
Sirikan.
How do you spell it?
Sirikan.
Sirikan.
Yeah.
And is that your first legal name?
No, that's just my.
What's your first legal name?
With the NATHPHOL.
ATHPHOL. How old are you?
37.
He's not in trouble or something, but I just really want to talk to him. And it's a personal matter. Sorry, I can't discuss it with you. Yeah. I did call him, but he didn't receive it, so I'll try again. Just let him know. Let him know
Does he
police is
work?
here.
What does he do for a job?
Okay.
Part-time security. Motor. KFC with. What do you reckon he's dead?
Oh, we would, yeah.
When was the last time you saw him? This morning.
What's that? No, we don't know. But no, it's just purely about him. It's not about other people at this stage. We just need to talk to him. But we don't know what that involves, really. It's something personal about him, but we need to talk to him about it. Yeah, so again, even police is not aware, but it's just like something, his welfare at this stage, there's someone else worried about. And all we're doing is doing a welfare check on him to establish what has happened. That's the only reason. So we'll probably call him. Maybe do another door knock or something. How long have you been living here for? Last decade.
Okay. You guys get mates? Yeah.
Kia ora. Heaps of people that live here.
Yeah, five.
Looks like a nice, tidy apartment.
What room is that in? That's B. That's B.
Oh, good. Hey, thank you for opening the door. Cheers, yeah.
Yeah, positive.
Thanks, man.
Okay, that was police at my door. Sorry, guys. The police just came looking for someone who's sharing an apartment with me, and they were just asking a few questions. Okay, that was interesting. Anyway. So for repairability, okay, availability of parts, say for cell phone A, there's not say is not locally available. So some parts have to be ordered and from other countries. From China, maybe. Okay, not locally available. You just say that not locally available. Okay, and the cost, well, let's say it's very high. Memory capacity, let's say 500 gigabyte. Okay, and that is a physical memory. Cloud storage, say no cloud storage. Okay, availability of part for cell phone B, let's say it's locally available. And cost is low. Right. For physical memory, let's say it's kind of small, 250 GB, but cloud storage is up to what 500 gigabyte, for example. So now imagine when you write a review, okay? So you're going to be loading a lot of information just for one particular phone model in one paragraph. Okay, so it's gonna sound some things like, okay, so cell phone A is a new model released by this company, blah blah blah. Let's speak about this battery life. Okay, cell phone A has a charge capacity of 4,000 milliamp hour, right, which allows you to play games, watch YouTube videos, and do text messaging for about 8 hours. Okay, nonstop, right? And it will last you for about the battery will also last you for about 1.5 year or two if you're lucky. If you take good care of your phone, charging it early, don't let it drops all the way to zero. Okay, charge it frequently. Not frequently. When the batteries goes down to 20% and you charge it, okay, so that can extend the life of the battery. Okay, in terms of repairability, okay, cell phone A, unfortunately, all the parts have to be ordered from China, okay, because the shops just don't stock all the part because not many people are using this model, okay, and since no one have experience repairing this phone, could be very expensive. Okay, because it can be difficult to open it up and perform diagnosis. Okay, in terms of memory capacity, cell phone A is packed with 500 gigabyte of physical memory. Okay, so that kind of memory allows you to store a lot of photos and also lots of applications on your phone. Okay, unfortunately, if you exceed that uh, capacity, you will not have any online storage to store your additional data. Yeah. Okay. So that's what it's going to sound like. So you are actually overloading your audience with a lot of information. Imagine if you have more than just three aspects. Imagine if you talk about processing power, connectivity, you know, um, screen resolution, then you will overload your audience with a lot of technical information. Okay, and basically you are just giving them information, but you're not doing the work of comparing. Your audience will have to do the work of comparing all this themselves. Okay, but if you do it point by point, okay, so for point by point, basically the number of aspects will determine the number of paragraphs. Okay, so the first aspect is battery. Okay, battery life. Okay, and you'll be comparing cell phone A with cell phone B. Okay, battery life. And the next aspect will be repairability. And you comparing between cell phone A cell phone B. In terms of memory capacity. Cell phone A versus cell phone B. Okay, so if you do it by point, okay, it will make it easier for your audience to follow. Okay, so because you'll be doing the work of comparing two items for them in terms of battery life, repairability, and memory capacity. Okay, so your first paragraph is going to sound some things like this. Okay, okay, so we're going to be looking at these two cell phone models, Model A and Model B, well, in terms of battery life. Cell phone A is packed with 4,000 milliamp hours lithium battery, which can last for up to 8 hours. Okay, but a cell phone B, the battery capacity is half as big. Okay, so you can only enjoy um, um, you can only enjoy watching YouTube's and playing games for not more than for 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 not more than half, right, of the hours that you would get from cell phone A, because the battery capacity is half the size. Right, okay. But in terms of charging cycles, it's the same. After 1,000 cycles, the battery is considered dead, or not, working at its maximum capacity anymore. In terms of repairability, cell phone A is going to be harder to repair, and also to be more costly, because it's too new and many parts are not locally available. They have to be ordered. Okay, whereas cell phone B is quite well known, and a lot of people are using it, and so parts are available at local repair shops, and it will not cost you too much money to get some parts replaced. Okay, in terms of memory capacity, cell phone A comes with a 500 gigabyte physical memory. Okay, but there's no cloud storage for cell phone A. Okay, so if you exceed that 500 gigabyte capacity, either you have to find your own third-party cloud storage like Dropbox or Google Drive. Okay, otherwise you have to keep transferring your data to computer. Okay, just for backup. Cell phone B, on the other hand, it may not comes with a huge, physical memory compared to cell phone A, right? Cell phone B only comes with 250 gigabyte of physical memory, but the provider offers cloud storage, which enables you to upload any important data to the cloud and retrieve it whenever, even though the phone is lost or not with you, for example, right? Okay, so as you can see, point by point is so much easier for your readers to understand, because you're doing the work of comparisons, okay? But the downside of point by point is that it's also harder for you to write, okay? Because it's going to be a lot of use of transitional words, like although, but, something like that. Sorry, guys. Hey, bro. Hey, bro, what happened? Yeah. Police were looking for you. Are you at KFC? What happened? Okay, man, I was worried about you. Okay, you come and tell me about that. Are you at KFC? All good? Okay, I'll see you home. Yeah, bye. Okay, right. Um, so yeah, so when you do your essays writing, for example, okay, you are the one who get to choose between block techniques and point by point. Okay, now that you know the pros and cons between these two techniques, is now up to you. You know which organizational strategy you want to choose. Okay, so again, block technique is easy for you to write, okay, but not so easy for your readers to follow. Okay, especially if the if there's a lot, of aspects you discuss per each paragraph. Okay, but point by point, easy to follow, but not so easy to write. Okay, because of the contradicting conjunction that you have to use, like but, however, although, while, whereas. Okay, So it's going to be a little bit more challenging. Okay, so let's take a break for 10 minutes and we will continue with our chapter 3. Okay, I'll see you guys in 10 minutes. Oh, by the way, thank you very much for a person who asked if everything okay. Yeah, it's okay. I think it's because I'm sharing an apartment with 5 people, so we never know who's doing what, right? So the police just came and asked me a couple of questions about the guy who lived next door to me, but apparently everything was fine. He just returned me the call and apologizing about being the reason why police have to come over. Okay, well, thank you so much for caring. Okay, I'll see you in 10 minutes. All right, guys. Let's carry on. All right, so we have reached the end of chapter 2. Let's get back to the pre-test, okay? All right, so remember earlier we ran through all these questions. Okay, so let us see if we can answer some of these questions now, okay? Starting with first statement. Thesis is just a paraphrase of the topic. Is that true or is it false? What happened to my pencil? Doesn't turn on. Okay, it turns on now. And there is. Well, it is false. Okay, it's not a paraphrase of the topic. Okay, many times, all right, a lot of people ask me, okay, can I just paraphrase these questions to write my introduction? Well, first you have to understand what the introduction is for. Okay, so you can just think about your essay as a dish, you know, food, something you want to eat. Okay, before you cook something, you need to have what? Ingredients. Okay, you can't just eat a package or just eat the name of the food. You need to eat the food, you know, the meat, right? Okay, so it's simple as that. Okay, you want to when you're hungry, you need to know what you want to eat. Is it chicken? Is it beef? Is it fish? All right. Once you figure out the kind of protein or meat that you want to eat, the next step would be how you want to cook them. All right. So you want to eat chicken. How you want to eat your chicken? You want to fry them? You want to boil them or grill them? It's up to you. Okay. Same is true, right? When you're writing an introduction, you must have main idea, because main idea is what you. It's just like protein. It's like meat. It's what you want to eat. Okay. Main idea is what you want people to believe. Okay. Whatever you say, is you want people to believe that. Okay. So the paraphrase of the question is not what you want your people to believe. You want people to believe in your opinion. Okay. Right. Next, important. It is important to narrow down focus topic. Okay. That is true. Okay. สักครู่นะครับว่าทั้งหมดมาเหรอพี่ใช่ใช่ไม่มีอะไรไม่มีอะไรไม่มีอะไรไม่มีอะไรโอเค All right, it is important to narrow down focus topic. So why do we have to narrow down the focus topic? We do it because if our topic is too broad, right, then your readers don't know what they want to focus. Okay, like okay, I'm gonna write about globalization. I'm gonna write about climate change. I'm gonna write about global warming. Well, yeah, but in what ways? How are you going to do it? What is it something we care? Okay, right. So you have to be a little bit more specific. Yep. Next, you can ask a question out of your focus topic for a thesis test, definitely. Okay. So ask a question of your topic. I think there was an example that we did earlier also, but not today, right? In other classes. Okay. Number 4, the thesis is your answer to the question. Well, yeah, especially if your assignment is thesis bearing. If the question simply asks you, like, to what extent do you agree or disagree with the idea of raising the gas price to reduce traffic congestion? Okay, your answer to that question is the main idea of your essay. So answer is yes. I mean, it's true. Number 5, you can use phrases in your thesis. No, unfortunately, okay? Now, why not? Why can't we use phrase? Because phrase is not by itself clear enough. Okay, it requires the readers to fill in the gap. Okay.
Sorry, can you explain the number 3 again?
Oh yeah, sure. Number 3, you can ask a question out of your focus topic to form a thesis. Well, if we could go back to here, this page, right? Finding a focus. Okay, so in this particular example, you were given an assignment to write about globalization. Okay, and then you narrow it down all the way to this: the impacts of globalization on Thailand. Let me just make it look more neat. Okay, so the broad topic is globalization, and you narrow it down to the impacts of globalization on Thailand. The impacts of globalization on Thailand's economy and culture. You narrow it down, okay? So your reader can now see the cause and effect. The cause would be globalization, and the effect would be economy and culture of Thailand. Okay, now this by itself cannot yet be a thesis because there's no verb in it. Okay, this is not a sentence, it's just a noun phrase. Okay, you cannot have a thesis statement with a noun phrase. You need to have a sentence structure which consists of a subject and a verb, right? Okay, so to turn that into main idea, all you have to do is plug in a verb, find a verb and put it in. But some people do find that difficult. Okay, so my suggestion would then be to ask a question out of this sufficiently narrow topic. So you turn this a noun phrase into a question, something that looks like this: what are the impacts? You can use what, where, when, why. It really depends on you. Okay, whichever questions is easy to answer, then go for it. Right. In this case, I use what, and I make a question out of this topic. It goes: what are the impacts of globalization on Thailand's economy? Okay. Now, your answer to this question will form the main idea of your essay. Okay, so here's an example. While globalization creates more job opportunities, it could lead to total loss of cultural identity. Okay, so it touches upon the impact that globalization has on what? Economy, right? Job opportunity, that's related to economy. Okay, so that sounds like a positive impact, right? But in terms of culture, it leads to loss of cultural identity. So globalization, unfortunately, can have a negative impact on Thailand's culture. Okay, so if you compare this with that, okay, it's obvious that the sentence is much more clear than just a phrase. Okay, so that's why we prefer a sentence rather than a phrase when we write this is our main idea. Okay, I hope I clarify. Yep, all good. Number 6, an outlining will prevent you from veering off topic or going off topic. Absolutely, it will prevent you from going off topic. So it creates something like it's like a map. It's like a navigator, right? You going somewhere. Today you just enter the name of the place in Google Map, and Google will shows you different routes for you to get there. So it's tell you exactly which when to turn, which routes to take, blah blah blah. Okay, so it will stop you from going off track. Okay, same is true with outlining. Okay, you will from start to stop, you know exactly what you're going to be writing in your essay. So it will prevent you from having to pause and think while you are writing. Okay, some people actually develop this habit of, okay, just start writing first and we will figure out later how to, continue. This is a bad idea, okay? Because sometimes you didn't realize this, you're going down a rabbit hole, okay? Many times, example is an argument essay. When they ask whether you agree with something, well, first of all, they're going to give you a very plausible, reasonable statement, right? It's not going to sound ridiculous, right? So the statement they give you has certain degree of persuasive power. What does that mean? When you read something with persuasive power, you want to agree with it, all right? Okay, it sounds very reasonable to the point where you want to agree with it. But if you actually agree with that statement, that means you have to do all the work to back it up. And sometimes you just don't know, just don't have any idea. Okay, so in this kind of situation, right? You don't want to realize that you can't continue after you have written a paragraph. So it's based to just start off by, brainstorming, right? Generate ideas and outline them. Okay, put them together to form a paragraph, but without actually writing anything. No sentences, no transitional word required. Okay, so you will see how your idea will unfold throughout your essay. Okay, before you actually write it. Yeah. Number 7, you need formal outlining for every kind of writing. Not necessary, right? Formal outlining is good because it has depth to it. So it's almost like what you call a very clear guideline that you create for yourself to follow. Okay, but time is a crucial factor to decide on how deep you can go. So in exam situation, you don't have a lot of time. Okay, so you don't have to go too deep into details. Yeah. Number 8, a good thesis should not be too broad, too narrow, too unreasonable, or too underdeveloped. Well, this is obvious, isn't it? It's true, okay? A good thesis or a good main idea, if it's too broad, then it's kind of like you having a very huge shape and you have to color. You have a huge shape to color. You won't have time to color it, right? Okay. But if it is too narrow, it's kind of like having a very, very small shape, like this shape, okay? So it's too easy to color, isn't it? Right? It doesn't take more than 3 seconds to finish coloring. Okay? So the same goes with essay. If it is too broad, then it will take you too much time to explain it. If it is too narrow, then you don't know what to write about it. You can't explain. All right? If it is unreasonable, then people won't people stop at the very first sentence. They don't want to carry on because it doesn't make sense to them. It's too unreasonable, right? If it is underdeveloped, then it's bad as well. Why? If it is underdeveloped, then it is not clear to them. They don't quite understand it. Okay, so if you don't quite understand what you're trying to say, they probably don't want to continue. Now, some people might want to, so that they become more clear about what you were trying to say, right? But the best scenario is that you want people to 100% understand your claim, okay? But they don't have to believe you just yet until you justify your claim. That's the best scenario. Okay, so that is all for chapter 2. Okay, I will pause my sharing for a while before I switch to chapter 3. Oh, it's already sharing, isn't it? One, two. Okay. All right. Okay, chapter 3. This is going to be about body paragraph. Okay, so previously we were focusing on planning and the thesis statement. Okay, thesis statement will be part of the introduction. Okay, but we're not going to worry about writing introduction yet. Okay, we're going to be looking at body paragraph. That is like very crucial, very important. Okay, so like always, we're going to test our standing before we get down to business. Okay, so first, you can answer that yourself. Body paragraph helps to make sure. Sorry, body paragraph helps to make arguments strong and convincing. I think my screen sharing has just ended. I don't know why, but I will do it. I will share you my screen again. Okay. Should be back online. Okay, so number 2, body paragraph allows readers to know when a central idea begins and ends. Is it true or not? Number 3, body paragraph have the same structure as the essay. Yep. Is it true or not? Number 4, the topic sentence must only be at the beginning. Right. Number 5, inductive and deductive are 2 different ways to organize a paragraph. So you probably wonder what inductive and deductive means, okay? Well, just wait for it, okay? Number 6, inductive style begins with the main ideas and evidence follows, okay? So if you guys want to know what inductive and deductive mean, just pay attention. I think it will come in the next half an hour or 45 minutes. Okay. Number 7, deductive begins with the main idea, which is supported by evidence. Number 8, we can use anecdotes in our college assignments. So anecdotes is like a short story. It's something that you can make up. No one's can. It's something you can make up. No one will know whether it's true or not because you are not citing any secondary source. Okay. Number 9, we can only use one type of support in our writing. Number 10, expert opinions and analysis can be used to validate our thesis. Okay, so if you're ready, let's move on. All right, here we go. Body paragraph. So let's just read this first 3 lines a little bit to get an idea as to why we need a body paragraph. So it says that most people would feel overwhelmed and annoyed when they see the entire essay is made of just one big paragraph without any effort to break it into paragraphs to make it easy for the audience to see shift from ideas to idea. Okay, so body paragraph is pretty much like episodes when you watch a series. Okay, it would be uh, ridiculous, right? For you to watch a 10 hours long or 20 hours long TV show. Okay, it's going to be very difficult because each episode will have a transition of idea. Something that happened in the first episode is going to unfold, right? So the first thing is going to be the cause of the effect on the second episode, something like that. Okay, so when you watch certain episode, you sort of know in what episode this particular event happened. Okay, it's also easier for people to like remember and understand the entire story. Okay, the same is true for reading. Okay, if you break your content down into smaller, manageable sections like body paragraph, okay, it's going to help people see the transition in the idea, which is quite important. Okay, which is quite important. Um, for example, say that you're writing a paragraph about solutions to global warming. Okay, and in one paragraph, you talk about what global warming is, what the causes are, what the solutions are. Okay, now let's say your readers, after having read your essay, wants to like forget about the causes. So when he was reading it, he can remember, right? But after reading it, let's say he forget, but he know that there was 3 causes, and he want to come back and find all the 3 causes. It's going to be hard because they have to start reading from the top, because he can't skim through your paragraph to identify where those causes are. Okay, it's not easy, you know. But if you break it down into paragraph, okay, your readers can always come back and identify which paragraph the causes are written. Okay, so they don't have to start from the beginning and make their way through, make their way down all the way to the bottom, scanning for the causes. They can just skim. Do you understand what skimming means, right? Skimming is a reading strategy where you can locate the information without reading every word, every line. Okay, if you have to read every word, every line, that is scanning, and scanning takes time. Skimming is more efficient because it can tell you the area or the paragraph that the information should be hiding, and then you just have to scan through it. Okay, so it's eliminate the portion that is irrelevant to the information that you are looking for. All right. Okay, so let's carry on. It says a body paragraph is made of sentences about one idea. Single ideas means one idea. Okay, it is an important tool used by a writer to divide the text into manageable pieces of information and lead the readers by signaling the introduction to new ideas. And like essays, body paragraph has 3 parts: a topic sentence, support of the main idea, and conclusion. Okay, now you can sort of think of your essay as a country, so main idea is equivalent to the government. What do governments do? The governments do nothing but making policies, right? They make policies, and when they make policies, all the departments will have to adjust the the operation, everything to become aligned with the policy. Okay, everything has to be aligned with the government's policy. Okay, now if we think about all those 77 provinces in Thailand as body paragraph, so who's the leader of each of the 77 provinces, right? It's going to be what the councils, right, for each province. Okay, so the leader, the governor of each province will have to sort of make its own policy, right, to govern his particular province, and the policy that he makes has to be in line with the government policy. You see what I'm saying? Okay, and the subordinates of the governors, right, will also have to make his or her own policies to govern his smaller town. It works like that. So main idea, okay, by itself it has no weight to it. Okay, if it's kind of like a shape like this. That's main idea. Why is it that it doesn't automatically turn it into a nice geometric shape? So I have to be more careful. Okay, so the moment you write your main idea, it's like a rectangular shape like that. Okay, but then you sort of have to break it down, because you cannot just do everything in one paragraph, right? Okay, you have to break it down maybe in 2 paragraphs, something like that. Okay, right, or break it down further, maybe in 4 paragraphs, and then look something like that. Okay, and each paragraph here, so each smaller rectangle here have to be color. So color is analogous to explanation. Okay, so you basically paint or color each of this. Okay, like that. So each of the rectangle represent one body paragraph. Okay, how many colors you see? You see 4 colors, so 4 body paragraph. Okay, and together they form a shape that looks something like this, right? That's the main idea. Okay, right. So each body paragraph will consist of a topic sentence. Now the topic sentence is just another claim that back up the main idea, but the topic sentence itself has no weight to it. Okay, it has to be backed up by theory and evidence. Okay, right. And depending on how broad your topic sentence is, okay, if it's not too broad, then maybe one supporting idea is enough. But if it's too broad, then you probably need more than one supporting ideas. Okay, all right. If you're still unclear, guys, you can sort of think of the previous example, about nicotine addiction among teenagers. Okay, if I say some things like, the banning of cigarette advertising won't work, what would be your questions? Right? What would you want to know? You probably want to know why it doesn't work, right? Okay, so I know that you think that, so I know that you want reasons why banning advertising won't work. Okay, but if I say some things like, because some teenagers don't need to see advertising to smoke, it's sort of back up, it sort of answer the main idea, but the answer itself raises another question as to, well, if advertising doesn't cause addiction, then what causes addiction? You see, it's one thing leading to another. Okay, so in order to make your very first idea, your main idea clear, you have to make the following idea clear. Okay, yeah, and if you can do that, you will add more weight to your main idea, and it will become more convincing. Yeah, okay. Over time, you will see. Over time, okay. So, so body paragraph itself can be thought of as a little essay in it. Okay, right. So body paragraph we have is topic sentence, which by itself is not plausible. It needs support. Okay, so the support here, this number 2, this support will try to back up topic sentence, okay? Which back up the main idea of your essay. So your main idea is somewhere here, right? This will back up main idea. Okay, right. So these two components are the most crucial in body paragraph. The third component, the conclusion, is not always necessary if your body paragraph is not that complex, or it doesn't contain too many supporting ideas. Okay, then the conclusion is not necessary. Okay, but if your body paragraph is very complex, contain like 4 different causes of the problems, then it's always a good idea to summarize it just a little bit before you move on, just to refresh the memory of your reader. Okay. All right. Now we're going to skip this example, okay, because it is too simple. I want you to try and rearrange the paragraph here, okay, using linking device to join the sentence, mind the use of punctuation. Okay, so this make up one paragraph, but the sentences are in wrong order. Okay, you will have to read each of the sentence and figure out which one should be the topic sentence, and the rest will simply be the explanation. Okay, for example, if you think the first sentence should be the topic sentence, then that means 2, 3, and 4 should be explanation. If they're explanation, then you must be able to join them using linking devices that you can find in the box below. Okay, right. There is one typo though, because number 3, the linking device is already there, so you don't have 3 to choose now. It's an easier game for you now, because you only need to use 2 to join the supporting sentences. Okay, so I'm gonna give you some time to think about how you would order all these sentences and where do you think this conjunction should go. Right, so 3 minutes. Okay. Okay, so how did it go? All right, so we have 4 sentences. Okay, the first sentence says fares will be very expensive to the point where commuters no longer see the advantage of using public transport. This is too long for a topic sentence, don't you think? Okay, but we're not coming to a conclusion just yet. Let's read the next sentence. Okay, so the next sentence says they could return to the use of personal vehicle. Whoa, that's a dead giveaway. This is definitely not going to be a good topic sentence. You know why? Because of the use of they as a pronoun. Okay, you see, topic sentence, you cannot have pronouns like it, they. Why? Because that has nothing to refer to, right? It is at the very beginning of its own paragraph, right? You can't refer to whatever you have in the previous paragraph. Okay, you can only use a reference like this, like they, it, okay, to refer to a noun that is in the same paragraph, but not from another paragraph. Okay, so number 2, you can cross it off. It's just definitely not going to be your topic sentence. Okay, number 3, by examining the issue more closely. When you begin with by examining, you are about to explain, right? Aren't you? So number 3 is a dead giveaway. This is not going to be the topic sentence, okay? Which leaves you with only one option. Number 4, a rise in the price of petrol could make public transportation less attractive to the public. All right, this makes a good topic sentence. Why? Because when you read it, you have a question. Yeah, a rise in the price of petrol can make could make public transportation less attractive to the public. Question is why? What does a rise in the gas price have to do with public transportation becoming less attractive? Why? What does it have to do with it? Okay. The why questions can then be answered by one of these 3 sentences. But first of all, before I forget, let's just write down the first. Do we have any space here? Never mind. I'll just make up some space. Okay, so rise in the price of petrol could make public transportation less attractive to the public. Okay, so that's the topic sentence. Okay, then the next sentence we'll try to explain it. Okay, so number 1, it says the fare will be very expensive. If you connect number 1 to this sentence using because, you will see that this makes a perfect explanation. Okay, so this is going to be the reason why a rise in the price of petrol will not be a good idea. Why again? Because, right? But the different way to write because, you can just put a comma and then because like that, but then it will make your topic sentence too long, all right? Because when you do it, your explanation become a part of the topic sentence. You probably don't want that, so we want to put a full stop or a period first, and then you begin your next sentence with determiner like this. This is because. Right. This is because what? This is because the fares will be very expensive. To the point where commuters no longer see the advantage of using PT, which stands for public transport, okay? And the next sentence, right? So we already used that, we already used this, we have 2 left, okay? Number 2, they could return to use personal vehicles. What does this have to do with number 1? Well, it could be the result, right? So when the fare is too expensive, people say, nah, I'm not gonna ride, I'm not gonna ride a bus today. I'm going back to my car. So this is what's gonna happen. So as a result, they could return to the use excuse me, of personal vehicles. Okay, just go back to use the car. And the history will repeat itself. Which the history repeating itself means the traffic will become congested again. Yep. Okay. Right. So that's it. All these 2 sentences, I've done a decent job to explain the first sentence, which is our topic sentence. So that's all you need. Okay. But sometimes you can use your last sentence to sort of signal your readers what they're going to see in the following paragraph. You see? Because conclusion, if you go back here, the components of body paragraph, right? There are 3 components, right? Topic, sentence, support, and conclusion. Now, conclusion can also offer a transition to the next paragraph. So it's going to give your readers a hint of what will be in the next session, in the next paragraph. So we go by examining blah blah blah. Okay, by examining the issue more closely, there are many other more sustainable alternatives to the rise in petrol. So the next paragraph will be about other methods to deal with traffic problems. Okay, so it has been 2 hours. Okay, let's just take another 10 minutes break and then we come back to do some more exercise together. All right. Okay. Let's go to the next page. Okay. Right. Next is we're gonna talk about topic sentence. Okay, so topic sentence is the first sentence in your body paragraph. But does it really have to be the first sentence? Well, that's also depend on your style of writing. Okay, later on we'll be talking about deductive and inductive format, which is just different ways of organizing your body paragraph. Okay. Okay, but first let's read about topic sentence. Okay, so topic sentences are like mini thesis statement. Just as your thesis, um, um, just as your thesis statement expresses the main idea of your essay, the topic sentence expresses the main idea of each paragraph. Okay, so like the analogy that I gave you earlier about the thesis statement being the government. Okay, and topic sentence being the office, like the council. Okay, and the council will have to um, be in line with the government policies. Okay, but the council also make its own policies, and everyone who is under the council will have to abide by it. We have to obey it. Okay, right. So topic sentence is by itself a main idea. Okay, but its power is only within its paragraph. Okay, now a good topic sentence should have these two qualities. First, it should be a good assertion about a subject. Assertion is nothing but a claim, so it should be clear. Okay, but it should also be general enough to encompass all the ideas in the paragraph. Okay, for example, if you want to talk about cause of traffic congestion, okay, if you say some things like a mismatch between the road capacity, right? Let me just rephrase, okay? If the if the volume of cars is greater than the capacity of the road, then we will have traffic congestion. Suppose you write exactly this sentence for your topic, okay? So, I mean, for your topic sentence, how would you extend that further? Right. I'm going to say that again, okay? If the volume of car is greater than the road capacity, the traffic will become congested. Can you explain further as like why? Why does it happen? It's so hard, isn't it? It's kind of like asking why number 16 is an even number. 16 is an even number. You know that, right? But why? Sorry, let me rephrase. A number that is divided by 2 is an even number. You know that, right? But why? Why is a number divided by 2 is an even number? You don't know. It's just the rule that someone came up with, and it has been passed on for generations. So you don't ask questions about the rule, right? You use the rule to explain our claim. Okay, so a topic sentence cannot be too narrow. If it's too narrow, then you don't know how to extend it. You can't write anything after that. Okay, so your topic sentence should better off be some things like, there are several causes of traffic congestion. Now that makes more sense because you can always talk about, okay, the first cause is this, and the second cause is that, the third cause is that, right? Okay, similarly, if I say some things like 16 is an even number, now that is easier to explain because you can refer to the rule. You can say, well, first of all, you must know that any number that is divisible, evenly divisible by 2, which means when you divide it by 2, there's no remainder, that is known as an even number. And 16, if you divide it by 2, you put it in your calculator, it's going to give you no remainders. Okay, that concludes that 16 is an even number. Okay. Next, excuse me. All right. So next, let's talk about deductive and inductive formats. So let's read this paragraph here. It says, the two most common ways to organize paragraph are based on logical reasoning strategies. One is to present a general idea first, and then support it with specific supporting evidence and example. The other is to begin with evidence and examples and come to a conclusion that is drawn from it. Okay. So what are those? Deductive paragraph. Okay, that is just one solution, one way to organize a paragraph. What does it look like? How does it work? So it says here that deductive paragraph begins with the main argument or claim being made about the subject and concludes with the supporting evidence and details. All right. So deductive paragraph is it's kind of like a pyramid. Okay. So if you look at a pyramid, the top is very small, isn't it? Right. And then as you proceed down to the base, it just get larger and larger and larger. Okay. So the top is a claim. Okay. It's by itself, it's not heavy, right? It's not strong. Okay. So it needs support. Okay, so the support of the pyramid is just larger and larger by layer. Okay, yeah, the second layer will be larger than the first layer, and the third will be larger. You know, when you go all the way down to the bottom, you have the largest cross-sectional area. Okay, that's the base. That's all the support for the top. Okay, so pyramid is I think it's a very stable structure. Okay, it's going to withstand tremendous shake because the center of gravity will never point away from the base. Okay. Right. So if you take a look at the example of this paragraph here, you say Thomas Edison is a genius. Now that is what? That is a topic sentence. Okay. So this sentence here makes claim about Edison, says he's a genius. Okay, the following paragraph will have to justify it. So the following paragraph is going to be all about theory and evidence. Okay, so you will have like sentences that will follow the topic sentence will have to make this very persuasive. Okay, at the end of this paragraph, if this is a successful paragraph, then it must be able to convince the reader that Edison is really a genius. Now, some of you may not even know who Edison is, which is perfect. Okay, now if paragraph is effective, then by the time you finish the reading this paragraph, you will want to believe that Edison is a genius. Okay, let's carry on. Whenever there's discussion about intelligence, most people would associate it with benchmarks like IQ or school grades. Okay, but that may not always be the case for some people who may possess neither of those, as long as they can change the world with their knowledge and skills. Okay, so what's going on here? So it looks like the writer is trying to propose an alternative to what most people might use as rules or laws to decide on someone's intelligence. Right. Okay. So this is a very interesting trick. Okay. He first mentioned IQ, which is something that everyone used to justify somebody else's intelligence, right? Like if I'm gonna say I'm smart, I'm gonna say, hey, look, I'm very smart. My IQ is 145, something like that, right? Okay. But he sort of wants people to drop that belief. He doesn't want people to look at IQ. Okay. So he wants to propose a different theory, a different principle that he wants us readers to hold on to. Okay. So his proposed principle is this: to justify if someone is smart. Sorry. Um, he first says that IQ is not reliable. Why? Because through the history of mankind, there's so many smart people, right? Smart scientists, okay, who make great discovery way before the term IQ even existed. Okay, right. So that's what the second sentence says, right? Now, if you read the next sentence in the fourth paragraph, said Thomas Edison was deprived of education as a young child and never went to any school or college. Yet he became the world's greatest inventor for introducing the first incandescent light that allows home and building to be illuminated during nighttime like never before. Okay, so he sort of proposed that if you want to judge someone's intelligence, don't be looking at his IQ or school grades, okay? But you should be looking at what he or she contributes to society. Because Edison, for one, right, he didn't go to school, so he can't brag about his school grades, right? And he was probably born before the idea of IQ even existed. Okay, okay. So we have to look at his contribution to the world. Now, what uh, Edison contributed to the world is that he was the first who built. He didn't discover the light bulb. First of all, he didn't discover the scientific laws and theory about that. Right? All this, right? Knowledge has been discovered way before him. Okay, it's kind of like research, right? One person found out this thing, the next person found out other thing. This is keep bridging knowledge gap. Okay, so by the time it reached Edison, this the foundation, the scientific foundation, the knowledge, the scientific knowledge is quite solid to the point where a guy like Edison can develop some real physical object out of the scientific knowledge. Okay, so we actually owe thanks to all the great people, great scientists, way before Edison's, all of those who discover the use of electricity, all the way back to Alexander Volter, who discovered the what they call animal's battery. Okay, right. Okay, we owe thanks to them. Okay, they are those are the people who make scientific knowledge solid. Okay, to the point where engineers like Edison can turn scientific knowledge into real life application like light bulb. Okay, anyway, so Edison's invent incandescent light. So incandescent light, what is it? Is today we using LED because it's much more energy efficient. Okay, it consumes a lot less power. Okay, and it produces less heat. If you touch an LED light, you won't burn your fingers, all right? But back in the day, like in my day, right, we had incandescent light, and that the bulb consumes so much power, right? Most of the power bills goes to incandescent light because it dissipates so much heat, but it's doesn't do what it's supposed to, which is to illuminate the room. Okay, it's not bright at all. Okay, it's convert most of the energies to heat. That's what incandescent light does. So not energy efficient. We don't use incandescent light anymore today. Okay. So yeah, because he invented this incandescent light, and back then it allows buildings to be illuminated during nighttime like never before. Yeah, because before light bulb, they were using what? Torch, right? They're using lamp, right? They're using lamp. And those are not very good light sources because they can be put out. Okay, a rain or a strong wind can put out a torch or a lamp. Okay, and a lamp, if it's oil based, then it has a fire risk. Okay, so not safe. All right, so therefore, right, Thomas Edison deserved to be called a genius. So you will notice that the beginning and the end is just similar. It's just basically the same thing, but written in a different way. So you begin with this topic sentence. It's a claim, it's understandable, but it's not very plausible. It's not what you call not not credible. Right? You understand, but you don't want to believe. But after all this explanation, after all this justification, the very same sentence now has more persuasive power. Okay? So that's deductive paragraph. So deductive paragraph is very efficient in a sense that there's a lot of transitional words to be used to develop this kind of paragraph. In fact, if you study English 2 with me, a lot of grammatical structures and also transitional words are designed for deductive paragraph. Yeah. Okay. And if you study English 4 level 5, where I teach you how to write an argument essays, okay, I'm going to be using deductive paragraph for almost every example because it's easy to understand and it has some organization to it. Okay. Moving on to the next format, inductive paragraph. Now, inductive paragraph, it is not so straightforward. Okay. Inductive paragraph has no format to it. Okay. For inductive paragraph, let's read a little bit. It's a inductively organized paragraph begins with specifics and lead to a general idea. That is why the topic sentence in this type of paragraph comes last. It expresses the conclusion or arguments that has been proven by building up evidence. Okay, so inductive paragraph is kind of like a jigsaw. Okay, you just keep adding pieces. As the first piece you add to the jigsaw will not make it possible for anyone to tell what on earth what this is, right? One piece is not enough. So you just keep adding more and more pieces and it will become more and more clear, okay, as to what the picture is all about, okay? So for inductive paragraph, there's no format to it. There's no order to it. You can start off with maybe a sentence that captures people's attention. It could be a quote from some famous people. It could be a line that says something that people don't expect. Okay, could be interesting fact or whatever. Okay, it doesn't have to be a topic sentence. It could be anything. Okay, so inductive paragraph, is similar to like watching a movie. Okay, when you watch a movie, you don't want to know the conclusion from the beginning, correct? Otherwise, it will spoil the whole thing. If you know what the conclusion is, spoil the whole thing. Okay, so the way they tell story in the movie is pretty much like inductive style. They don't always begin with claim. They begin with something, some event, and then another event, and then as you progress, you will see how all those events are connected. Okay, so it's pretty much like that. So it takes a lot of experience and skills to be able to use this in a format effectively. Well, let's have a look at an example here. Okay, so it's the same thing, okay, just written in a different way. So Thomas Edison was the greatest inventor for introducing the incandescent light that allows home and building to be illuminated during nighttime like before. Okay, so this paragraph almost right away give you some historical facts about this guy named Edison. It says that he was the first inventor of incandescent light, and that lights help people to see at night. Okay, so what is it? It's not a claim, it's a fact. Okay, so what is it for? We don't know, we just have to keep reading. However, this gentleman was deprived of education as a child, so it means he never went to school. He never went to school or college. Oh yeah, that's explanation just in the next sentence. Besides, the IQ theory was not even born in his time yet. Okay, so Edison could not boast about his high school grades or his IQ test score. Yep, okay. So it's almost like upside down paragraph in a way. Even so, that doesn't change the fact that this man has used his knowledge and skills to change the world. Okay, so we come across again this sentence can boast about IQ or test score. Okay, so this sentence just try to convince people to drop the belief in IQ score and school grades. So drop this ideas. I mean, don't use this IQ. Don't use IQ or the school grades to justify someone's intelligence. But use what? Use this. Okay. Look at what he contribute. All right. If a person can contribute to the world with his skill and knowledge, then he deserves to be called a genius. And since Edison's invent something that benefit humanity, right? So that is his contribution, and there's no reason not to call him a genius. So that for you is the claim of the paragraph or a topic sentence at the end. Okay, so just different way to organize paragraph. You can either use deductive, where the topic sentence begins the paragraph, or you can use inductive, but the topic sentence is at the end. Either way is fine. Okay, the difference is how which technique is more suitable to you. Okay, right. Okay. Next, we're going to be looking at exercise number 2. Okay, so I just want you to oh my God, looks like the answer is right there. Anyway, you do it for your own good anyway. I want you to spend some time to read this paragraph, okay? So understand what it's all about, okay? And then you can tell me, how many paragraphs should I break this down to, right? Should I break this down to one paragraph? Sorry, should I break it down to 2, 3, or 4? Okay? All right, just take some time to read this, all right? I'll give you 4 minutes. Okay. So, let's go through this, shall we? So it says Sigmund Freud is the father of psychoanalysis and made many contributions to the science of psychology. Okay, so you guys know Sigmund Freud, right? Okay, is the guys who, well, you will know what his contribution is just by reading this paragraph anyway. So let me just continue. So one of his greatest contribution was his theory of personality. According to Freud, the human personality is made up of three parts: the id, the ego, and superego. Okay, now you might, I don't know, maybe you can relate this to sort of religious belief, like in Buddhism. Okay, it is pretty much similar to desire. Okay, and if you have desire but you don't have any means to suppress it, then all hell can break loose. You can do whatever you want, right? It's really, you are like slave to your desire. If your desire wants you to do something good, then that's cool. But if your desire wants you to do something bad, then it's going to be bad, right? Anyway, so personality is made up of three parts: id, ego, and superego. So the last sentence here, just make up the main idea. Okay, so the main idea will be all about what? The id, the ego, and the superego. Okay? Um, the next, so we should begin the next paragraph just right here. Okay? So this should begin the next paragraph. Okay? Like you would press enter and this goes to the next paragraph. So the id is the part of the personality that exists only in the subconscious. Okay? The part that only exists in the subconscious. According to Freud, it has no direct contact with the reality. It is the innermost core of our personality and operates according to the pleasure principle. Okay, so it is at the core of our personality and it only generates desires. Okay, and it seeks gratification, which is how you would respond to the desires. Okay, regardless of external reality or consequence. So it doesn't really care about what's going to happen. All right, it's just its desire to be gratified. Okay, so this is just one paragraph focusing on it. Okay, so this sentence right here, it is the part of the personality that exists only in the subconscious. Okay, so that is the topic sentence. Okay, that's the topic sentence. And whatever follows here is what? Whatever follow is the support. Okay, the next paragraph begins with the ego. The ego developed from the id and is the part of the personality in contact with the real world. Okay, so this is just another topic sentence. Ego developed from the id and is the part of the person in contact with the real world. So the topic sentence of the next paragraph. Okay, so whatever follows, we have to explain the ego. So it says here, the ego is conscious and therefore aims to satisfy the subconscious desire of the id as best it can within the individual's environment. When it can't satisfy those desires, it tries to control or suppress it. The ego functions according to the reality principle. Okay, so that explains the ego. Next is the superego. So the superego is the third and final part of the personality to develop. Okay, the last part. So that is a topic sentence. Okay, and what follows is the explanation. Okay, so how many paragraphs should we have in total? We should have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 paragraphs. First paragraph shows the main idea, and the second paragraph talks about part of the main idea, which is the ID, the id. The next paragraph talks about the ego, and the last paragraph talks about superego. Okay, so that's it. Now let's move on to the third exercise here. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to write a topic sentence. Okay, so we see 3 paragraphs here, all right? Paragraph A, we have paragraph A, paragraph B, and paragraph C. Okay, so you have to read through each paragraph and try to sort of come up with a topic sentence for each paragraph. Okay, can you do that? I'll give you 5 minutes, okay? So paragraph A, you have to read it and think about what should be the topic sentence. Okay, have a go. Okay. All right, so let's go through this. When I was in kindergarten, I wanted to be an astronaut. When I was in junior high, I wanted to be a doctor. When I was in high school, I wanted to be a teacher. Today I'm 35 and I'm a firefighter. All right, so it looks like this paragraph tells you about what? Tells you about occupation, right? That changes, okay? It changes with age. So when I was young, want to be in the kindergarten, growing up a little bit, want to be an astronaut, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so one of the possible topic sentence here, okay, based on the data that we have, is that, my, for age, right? Um, my, my job or my dream occupation it sort of changes with age, right? Or it changes as I grow older. So this could make a good topic sentence, okay? Because when you read it, my dream occupation changes with age, then you want to know, okay, at what age you want to be doing what, right? Okay, so the next sentence can go, when I was in kindergarten, I want to be an astronaut. When I was in junior high, I wanted to be a doctor. When I was in high school, I wanted to be a teacher. And now that I'm 35, I'm a firefighter. Okay, so this can make a good topic sentence here. All right, moving on to paragraph B. The government's Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that employment in child daycare services will grow over 300% in the next decade. In 2002, about 350,000 people work in child daycare services. By 2012, that number is expected to be about 1,050,000, an increase of more than 300,000 jobs. Okay, so what is this number all about? This number tells you that there will be a much more demand for people who work in child business services. Okay, so it says that in 2002 it employs about 750,000 people, right? But in the next 10 years, the number of people that will need to be employed to work in this business will be up to 1,050,000. So if this business is going to employ more people, what does that mean? That means this child daycare service, right, will become will be in much greater demand in the futures. That's one way to look at it. Okay, or if you look in terms of job opportunities, you can say, well, there will be a huge job opportunity for child daycare in the futures. So either one is fine because the support or the information that is given in paragraph B will sort of illuminate, will sort of justify anyway. Okay, so I'm gonna go for what? Child daycare services will need more manpower. Okay, or more manpower. power will be in much greater demand in child daycare. Okay, something like that. Okay, you can also say there will be great job opportunity in child daycare service. Okay, last one. The proposed tax referendum will not reduce tax for middle-income families. In fact, the middle-income families with children will pay 10% less, will pay 10% more tax per year. And families without children will pay 20% more. Further, the referendum actually decreases taxes for the wealthiest tax bracket. In fact, taxpayer in the highest income bracket will pay 10% less per year if the referendum is passed. So what does that mean? Okay, so that means the referendum or the new law here, okay, that is going to be passed, right? Is it approved? Okay, is it considered to be a good one? Not really, right? Why? Because it says, in general, it says the referendum here will make rich people richer. Okay, but will put more financial stress on middle income families. Okay, so we could say the proposed tax referendum will not be fair. Okay, for middle income family. Okay, so a topic sentence could be something like this. Okay, and this paragraph will justify why it is that the proposed tax referendum isn't fair for middle income family. Okay, people, so I think that should be all for tonight. I mean, today in Bangkok time. All right, so next time we see each other, we'll be talking about how to write support for your topic sentence. Okay. All right. So thank you very much for your attention. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.